Good morning. It is Friday morning and it is Let It Go and Let It Grow. And what are we letting go of today? And that is death. What are we letting grow today? And that is Ace of Pentacles energy. So we are coming into a full completion cycle, the death, rebirth, and new beginnings of prosperity and abundance cycle. So the major arcana deepens the soul lessons, transforms significant endings, beginnings, and the spiritual evolution. And the pentacles today are stability, health, home, work, money, resources, abundance, and the physical world. Death is Scorpio energy. It is ruled by Mars with modern rulership by Pluto. And the Ace of Pentacles is an earth element ruled by Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The water signs for the death card are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And we are coming out of a big spell of Pisces. So be really, really aware of how your emotions are right now, because this is the ending of a huge cycle. The 27th, next Thursday, is a blood moon. It's a culmination of really years worth of emotional work that we are letting go. So take care of yourself emotionally the next couple of days. Really be focused in on how you are feeling, honor those feelings that are coming up, and be grounded in them. So that's a beautiful reminder there too with the Pentacles. There's something beautifully clear about these two cards appearing together. Death has completed the cycle, and the Ace of Pentacles, now there is fertile ground to be planting in, to plant those seeds of the future. So what can I build with the change I've created? So this combination here in the tarot is the ending and the beginning sitting right next to each other. So let's go. Let it go. Death. Death is one of the most misunderstood cards in the tarot deck. A lot of people see this, especially in the traditional decks where the skeleton or the reaper is riding on the back of a horse, and they see this and deem this as a card that brings up fear and is scary to them. But that's not what this card is about at all. And I love the representation in this deck of, being encloaked with the red. So the groundedness, rootedness, letting go of those cycles, the universe in the forest and the trees behind them, the rebirth of the soul through spirit, through star life, through the universe, and all of the colors swirling around, showing new hope, but there is still that kiss of black there. So there is going to be a little bit of a transition there. So it's not a literal card. It represents endings, transformation, release, rebirth, and the natural cycles of our life. So we are letting go what has already reached its natural ending. So coming into this end of the Pisces season of emotion, what has truly ended for you emotionally that you are willing to walk away from and leave behind today? What is this culmination of years worth of emotion coming up? What are you truly, really, really aware of now that you want to really let go of? Let go of trying to resurrect something your soul has outgrown. It's okay to visit the past, but if there's a past something that you've been trying to dig up and put back together, I just heard the saying, you beat a horse to death and bring it back to life. This is letting that lie, letting that horse lie, and knowing that it is okay. And I just thought it's fire horse here as well. So that's a really good symbol to bring forward that, let it lie. Don't dig up what you have already let go. Don't resurrect something that your soul has outgrown, whether it is a relationship, whether it's job related, whether it is grief of the past, knowing that that is a season to roll through rather than live in again. Release identities that belong to an early version of yourself. Once again, I saw the Six of Cups in my head, that sort of that reminiscence of the past. And it's okay to visit the past feelings, but you don't have to live there. You don't have to live in past versions of yourself. It's okay to realize that you are making changes for your emotional growth and to move forward. Stop holding on to situations simply because they are familiar. So familiarity keeps us stagnant. We don't like being shaken up. I just saw the Tower card as well. We don't like being shaken up all the time and having those foundations rocked. But it's also good to know that it's good for your soul not to stay in the familiar. You don't grow, you don't expand staying in the same place, staying in that familiar feeling, that familiar job, everything that is there that you deem as security. But in actuality, in moving forward in life, you have to sometimes get into the uncomfortable spot a bit to walk forward. So allow yourself to grieve what is changing. I was talking to my naturopath yesterday, and she said that she's in a bit of a grief cycle. She's moved offices. She was at her old office for 15 years, and there was a lot of memories and a lot of feelings, and she was in a grief cycle about switching where she's at now. And I said, that's really interesting, because a lot of people don't consider moves like that, even from one home to another, one job to another, a loss of a job completely, an illness, loss of a friendship. Those are all grief cycles, and those are all okay to be in at the moment, knowing that this isn't going to be a place where you're stuck. This is just a resting period, and grief takes on many, many different shapes and forms. But the way that we're taught to see grief in our day-to-day life is that it has to be the loss of a person, like a death of a family member or pet or something like that. But grief comes in so many different ways. Allow yourself to grieve your life and the changes that are happening, and that know that that's okay, and that you're not at a place to feel grief over things that other people might judge you on. Release the belief that the ending means something went wrong. We all grow out of mistakes that we've made. We've all grow out of failures. If everything was easy for us, life would be very, very different, and we would be in a very different position, but we wouldn't honor our path, and we wouldn't honor who we are and where we've come from. So let know that if something didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, don't feel bad about it. If there is grief involved in it, that's fine as well. Go through that process. But don't allow yourself to feel that you're a complete and utter failure, because you are walking on your path, and that path is set forward in trials, tribulations, successes, failures, and know that it's all part of your walk. Trust that the empty space around you has purpose. You don't have to fill it all up. You can actually sit in that silence sometimes and really contemplate those endings of cycles and the beginnings of new ones, and let transformation happen without demanding to know exactly what comes next. So you don't have to have all the answers, but know that the universe has your back as you progress in your life and move yourself forward on your mission, on your journey of life. Have some trust, which is a hard thing to do at times, but have trust that things are all going to work out for you. Death doesn't ask you to pretend endings don't hurt, because there is, once again, that feeling of grief and sometimes loss there. But it asks you to recognize when holding on hurts more. There are times that you just have to come to a place of belief and knowledge that endings are sometimes the best things that can happen for you, because the beginnings, the unknown, is the journey forward, and that fool's journey, the starting again at the 0 point. So the water sign story for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Death can touch deeply in emotional territory. Water remembers people, places, faces, dreams, and old versions of ourselves. And Scorpio especially understands that transformations rarely happen on the surface. Scorpios go underground. They do this deep work in the shadow. They see what's been buried, then emerges changed. And this is all about doing that inner work and that shadow work, and knowing that sometimes when you shine the light on yourself, you're not going to like what you see, but that's where some of the deepest work happens, because that's where you come in and slide into acceptance. This card reminds us that water signs, that grieving an ending and accepting an ending can happen all at the same time. So you can be both motions and both states at the exact same time, knowing that this is what has to happen and grieving that the change is coming. You can miss something and still know that it's time to let go of that. So what are we letting grow today? And that is the beautiful Ace of Pentacles. So it's an earth element. Growth, sometimes tangible from what you've learned. Grow something tangible from what you have learned. So coming out of that death card, we have lessons, we have space now. And as I said, you don't have to fill that space, but know that the earth is ripe for planting new ideas and new things for yourself for the future. The ground is fertile. It is time for you to plant those new seeds of hope for your garden, for your family, for yourself, and allow that to grow. Say yes to grounded new beginnings. It is okay to get into that grounded, rooted feeling. And that's where you want to be with new beginnings. You don't, the information might come into you etherically, but you have to pull that all the way through until you reach that groundedness and that feeling that you can plant those seeds and stand your ground. And this is exactly where you need to be going. Invest in your physical well-being. The spiritual house, it was funny, I was saying to my naturopath yesterday, my spiritual house is in great order. It is my mental house and physical house that need the work. And I've talked about entrainment before, and that is if we are mind, body, spirit. If two of those are working really, really well together, it will pull the third along with it. It's called entrainment, but entrainment also works the other way. So if your spiritual house is great, but your mental house isn't good and your physical house isn't good, then eventually that your spiritual house is going to come into under fire as well. So to get that balance point and strength for you to make sure your physical well-being is grounded. Create stronger foundations around your work, your home, your health, and finances. So this is the time now that you've got the space and the completion of the cycle. We're working through that Pisces energy to clean house. Where do you need to clean up around the corners? Do you need to change your diet? Do you need to get more exercise? Do you need to drink more water? Do you need to take care of your meditation practice again? What do you need to pull into your life that will give you that foundation, that rooted, grounded stability that you are looking for right now? Take practical action towards something you've been dreaming about. So if you're planting seeds, what do you want to cultivate? What do you want to grow? Open yourself up and allow this energy to ride with you and plant a new seed and really cultivate that dream and go after it. This is a great time to do that. Allow yourself to receive new opportunities. Be open to receiving. A lot of that time has to do with being in gratitude and thanking the universe for, having your back again. It's that trust that as energy and money goes out, that more energy and money is going to come in because you are in a receptive state. You are opening yourself to all kinds of possibilities. Endings can be painful and beginnings can be painful, but knowing that you are working on grounding and stabilizing yourself at the same time, this really opens you up to a beautiful sense of energy to bring that all through for you at this time. And begin slowly if you need to, but begin. Trust the small seeds. So, Rome wasn't built in a day. So if you're changing your diet, be gentle with yourself. If you're starting and I'm all or nothing girl, so this is rich coming from me because I'm the type of person who wake up one day and I have to watch my energy being chronically ill and stuff, and I'll feel fantastic. So for the next week, I'll work out every single day, 20 minutes, lift weights, do this, do that. And then I drain myself completely for a month. I've just come through a phase where I did do that. So I'm recalibrating myself. Small, sustainable steps. Small, sustainable steps. What can you do for yourself today that are going to lay the seeds and plant the groundwork for tomorrow as that growth starts to move forward? The Ace of Pentacles isn't usually fireworks card. It's something better. It's potentiality you can actually build upon. A new opportunity, routine, business idea, financial beginning, home project, new job, a commitment to your body, everything I was just talking about, and a relationship with real potential. It is the seed. It is the seed, the beginning of life, the beginning of that new opportunity. And seeds don't look particularly impressive when you first put them in the dirt, but as you cultivate them and water them and give them the sunlight and the nurturing that they need, they grow into mighty, beautiful plants and flowers, and a beautiful growth spell coming. So for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, the ace is speaking your language. Build, nurture, commit, grow. Earth energy understands that lasting change happens through what we repeatedly do, not simply what we intend to do. But the reminder here is don't become so concerned with whether the seed will succeed that you never plant it. And that is bold, because we all have these ideas, and it's the perfection perplexity, right? You're going to start a project, and then you start, especially if you are on the spectrum or ADHD, you overthink and overthink and overthink, and it's like it's got to be perfect, so you never started. Nothing is ever perfect, and there's no better time to start something than now, because there will never be a perfect day. So it's asking you to take that into stock. You don't need to know exactly when what something will become before giving it a chance to grow. Allow yourself that space to grow, and allow yourself to expand and plant that seed for you. So this reading feels like standing in a garden at the end of a season. Some things have finished blooming, and some plants have gone to seed. Some branches are becoming bare. And if we didn't understand the cycles of nature, we might not look around and think everything is dying, but nature knows something we forget. An ending isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's preparation. The Death card arrives for us first today and asks, if you look honestly at what is completing its cycle, maybe it's a relationship, a job, a belief, a dream, a habit, a role that you've played, a mask that you've worn, or simply a version of yourself that has helped you survive a particular chapter. And this is where letting go becomes complicated. Sometimes we release things that we loved, something that was beautiful, but it still had to come to an end. Sometimes something has helped us enormously, and yet we've still outgrown that. And sometimes we're holding on to an old identity because we don't quite recognize the person replacing it yet. Death says you can't become someone you are becoming while still insisting on remaining who you are right now. And then the Ace of Pentacles walks in, and suddenly there's something in your hand, a seed, small, unassuming, full of potentiality and possibility. And Death is asking, what are you ready to release? And the Ace of Pentacles replies, what are you ready to plant in its place? And that's the heartbeat of today's reading, because letting go without eventually creating something new can leave us staring into space, into the void, not knowing what direction we need to be going in and what we need to actually be doing. The Ace is asking us to return to life again. Maybe you cannot rebuild everything today. You don't have to. Plant one seed, make a phone call, take a walk, save a little bit of money today. Send that application in, start a project, reach out to somebody, make an appointment, and clear the corner of one room. Take one practical step towards the life you want to inhabit. And then the Death card is representing the enormous transformation. The Ace of Pentacles is representing something surprisingly ordinary. The next tangible step for you, the next step forward on the path. So the Death card strips away, and then the Ace gives form, and one clears the field while the other is planting it. One is releasing, the other is receiving. So the messages today are: release what has completed its purpose for you, and then grow something real in the space and leave it behind. Endings do not erase what came before it. It creates what is coming in behind it next. And you don't, is that upside down again? Good Lord. No, it was. Maybe I should read my glasses while doing this. And you don't need to rebuild your entire life today. You only need to plant one new seed and then let it mature. So the daily reflection is: what has already completed its cycle in your life, but part of you is still struggling to release it? And the Pentacle is asking today, If you trusted that empty space wasn't truly empty, what new seed would you like to plant there to bloom? And that is the reading of today. And I'm finishing it off with the Dead Inside little focus card. Normally I do Raven's Dream, but where I didn't do the reading yesterday, I thought I would do what I had planned for yesterday, for today. So, and this card is Toxic but Familiar. Patterns, attachment, comfort, and pain. And this is a perfect card that came in behind Death, because it is asking us not to be complacent, because the familiar, the toxic familiarity is what keeps us stuck in those patterns. I also just saw the Devil card in my head. So this is those patterns that we keep saying we want to change, but, you know, sitting in that crown of thorns or the barbed wire sometimes is easier for us to deal with, because that familiarity, that pain becomes a comfort. And that's really a constraint of the ego, the pain body. As you start to stretch out and move and grow and plant those new seeds and walk yourself ahead, it's going to get uncomfortable because you're unsure of things. Your nervous system might buck a bit because you're stretching it and it doesn't know what to do. And then that's when you slip back into these toxic patterns, because you are attached and comfortable in your pain. You are so used to feeling that and having that pain body engaged, carrying it around like a crown, but it's actually a crown of thorns that you don't see. Basically, you don't see the forest for the trees because you're unwilling to stretch yourself that much forward into the planting season. It's easier to stay in that pain body because that weirdly is a natural feeling for you. You're used to the discomfort. You're used to the grief. You're used to the physical pain. You're used to feeling bad about yourself. And to challenge these can become very difficult. But it is a great opportunity today to complete that, to rebirth yourself, and to plant that seed for your own potentiality in body, mind, and spirit today, and move forward in a stronger manner as we come out of this really strong Pisces energy into the blood moon next week. So that's it for today, and have a good one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.